Okay, so running is done. This was really good. First time I used some headphones to listen to some upbeat music while I was doing the running, and I think it went pretty well. I think the music, if it's really upbeat, it helps with the pacing of the run. Sometimes I felt like I'm running a little bit faster and then I'm running a little bit slower, probably because of the beat. So yeah, that was the first time doing that. I'm gonna see if I can put together like a really cool playlist that I just listen to for like 20-25 minutes during my run. And yeah, I think it went pretty well. My legs are still sore a little bit, so let's do some stretching and some kicking, and let's go over some patterns because we always need to do that. So today I'm starting with some punches and kicks. I'm trying to do shadow boxing, shadow kicking, so I imagine that I have an opponent and I'm working on my speed and my accuracy. Because I don't have a target, I'm just trying to make sure that I am making a distinction between the low level or the mid level and the high level. And I'm also trying to do it faster and more stronger with each move. I'm going around in the kicks just to make sure that I'm trying out not just the distance but different angles. When you're sparring, you're moving around, you're not just going forward and backward, you have to go around. So I'm just playing around and going forward, backward, sideways, and going around in a circle. I keep on practicing different kicks and punches and just trying to make sure that I aim and kick at the right place. Then I'm doing some combination, dolyochegi, pande dolyochegi, and just feeling what I feel. I'm just trying to see how am I doing, how are the kicks, and what makes me feel good. Then I went on and did some stretching. It's always good to do, especially after a long running session that I did. After that, I went on and did some pattern practice. This is the AM tool, so I'm concentrating on the movements, on the steps, and making sure that all of them are properly executed and the right moves. It's very difficult because I don't have a mirror, so when I'm watching these videos back, it's also very good for me to see where I need to improve. After that, I did some more patterns like the chunjang tool. Again, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm practicing certain moves. So the whole pattern and then certain moves and techniques in the pattern that are more difficult, so I know which ones I need to pay more attention to. Then I went on and did some peon tool. I really like this pattern. I like that it's in one line and it's nice and symmetric. So last night there was a big storm and there is a lot of debris now on the floor in the park. So you can see on the ground there's a lot of leaves and everything. The poor gardeners didn't have the time to clean up everything, but hopefully it's gonna be okay. So I have a lot of basil leaves. I'm going to make at home pesto. What you need is real simple. You need a lot of basil leaves that I already have. Then you add some pine nuts. I bought it at the bio shop. Then I add some garlic
to taste. I love garlic, so I like to add more. I have some Parmesan cheese, so I'm going to grate it and add that too. And then once all that's done, I'm going to add a little bit more pepper and salt, again to taste, whatever you like. And then I'm going to mix it up in this blender. Well, it looks really good. It needs a little bit more mixing, so I add just a little bit more stuff. I'm trying to push down all the pesto so they can get a little bit more chopped. And once that's done, I'm going to blend it again. It looks very good. I think I'm gonna add one more round, but otherwise it looks very good and it's very tasty too. So as you can see here, I'm just gently pushing down the pesto sauce, and it smells so good. I wish you can smell it through the video, but it's really simple. You can make it at home. And while I was making this, I also made some gluten-free penne pasta. So I have that, it's all fresh, and I'm going to add the homemade pesto sauce to it. Oh, it looks so good. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It's really, really good. And I also had some leftover Parmesan cheese, so I'm just gonna add that. And I had some Serrano ham, adding that too, and some more tomatoes and a little bit more cheese, as I'm just really craving cheese these days. So yeah, that's it, homemade pesto.
Okay, so I finished my run and I found this place where I can practice. It's pretty nice, green, not too many people around, but there are more people coming, so I'm going to try and practice some patterns. I still feel I have a little bit of pain in my legs. I think I stretched them, but maybe I overstretched them a little bit, so I'm just going to try to be careful with the kicks and just warm up lightly. Even with the patterns, I'm just going to try and focus on the moves and trying to remember the steps. So that's my goal for today. And I'm going to do another good stretching session because I feel that I need to stretch a little bit more so my legs would feel a little bit better, also my back. So I'm just going to try and take it easy.
Today I started with some warm-up as usual. Made sure that after the run my legs feel good, so I did some light stretching. I will never again do a big running session and then not do any stretching. I learned from that from the other time because my legs got really sore, so now I'm just making sure that I'm stretching properly immediately after the running. Then I went on and did some torso twists and then some leg lifts. I'm trying to lift up my leg as high as possible and also keep my balance. Then leg lifts to the side. I'm using this tree to hold on to and just gently try to lift to the side. Then lift the leg back. Again, hold onto a tree or anything or a wall, and you can just make sure to lift the leg up high behind you. Then I did some front kicks, really like doing them, and then some roundhouse kicks, and I went on and did my usual kicking session when I go through all the kicks. This is now crescent kick, inward, outward, and then I just go on and do 10-10 of each leg, left leg, right leg, and just go through all the different kicks. After that, I went back because I felt like my legs still needed some shaking, something like that. I felt that if I hold onto the tree, I can lift my leg up higher and I still have something to hold on to. So this felt really good, especially to my thighs and my hips. It just was a really good thing, and I feel like I can lift my leg higher after I practice the kicks, and then I did these leg lifts again. Then I went on and did some pattern practice as usual. Some of you asked what kind of patterns I practice. I try to practice all of the patterns, so these are just the highlights. I just try to show you some. Every day I try to practice 3 to 4 different patterns. So I'm always trying to practice the latest ones that I did the other day, and I try to go back a little bit more, so my memory is always kept up to date, because if you don't practice one of the patterns, then I tend to forget one of the steps or two, so I try to go back and keep doing them.
So some of you asked me, how do I do it that I get up every morning and I go out exercise or do it in the evening or whatever? It is a mindset. I promised to myself that I'm going to exercise and get in a better shape, and because I know that when my body is in a better shape, my mind is clearer, I can think better, I feel better, I'm not as anxious, and it just feels good. And there is this initial pull or push, or I don't know, this little feeling that, oh, you know, you don't have to do it, or you can do it later, you can exercise later. But when your brain is doing that, it's just tricking you into, you know, thinking that, oh, you can do it later, or you can do it tomorrow or whatever. But I also just trying to prepare my outfit that I'm gonna wear the next day. So when I get out of bed and I change from my nightgown, pajamas, whatever, to my exercise clothes, I don't have to think, you know, it's just I'm trying to avoid thinking, trying to avoid thinking too much, you know, it's trying to make it into an easy thing to do. So I just prepare my clothes and I know immediately, oh, okay, this is what I'm gonna wear for the next day. And then again, I have like 3 sets of exercise clothes, meaning the sports bra, the leggings or bottoms. I have a couple of shirts that I change underneath this, and I have 3 of these outdoor sweaters that I'm wearing. So I just rotate them, and I always have something to wear, which is good. Yes, of course I have a bunch of socks and whatnot, so I just have things ready for me in the morning, so I can go out and just do the exercise without thinking about it, without thinking, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Sorry, I'm just doing some stretching in the middle while I'm talking. Basically, I'm trying to make the preparations beforehand, so it's easier for me to like, oh, it's just there, the sign for me that, okay, I just put it on. The next step is to get my sunglasses. These are the dedicated sunglasses for running that I'm wearing. I also have my little bag that I wear when I go outside, and I have, you know, tissues and everything in it that I might need. So again, I'm just trying to make things easier for myself and making it more accessible, so I don't have to think about, oh, what do I need to take with me? Is there. And that comes with having just the thought of going out reduced, so then I don't have to think about like, oh, do I want to go out? Yes, I want to go out, I want to go out, I want to exercise, and I know that after the exercise I feel so much better. Like this morning it was raining, and I was waiting, okay, when the rain stops I'm gonna go out and actually do my running and exercise, and it was great. Like, even though it's a little muddy and whatnot, but it's okay, like that's fine. And now the sun is shining, it's so much nicer, and once I'm outside I'm pushing myself to, okay, let's do the running, let's do one more circle around the park, just one more, and I always try to push myself a little bit. I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna run 10 circles around the park, because that's a bit much right now, but I know that eventually I can get there. Now I can do 6 laps, which is pretty good, and maybe tomorrow I can do 7, and maybe the next day I can only do 6 again, or maybe I can do only 5, but that's okay, because progress is never like this. It's like a little bit down, a little bit up, like this. So yeah, just make sure that you're aware of that. Don't be too hard on yourself. Always just try to push yourself to the limits and try to feel what feels good at the moment. Now it's time to go home, take a shower, and get something to eat. See you later.
I am making fried eggs. They starting to look really good. And I'm going to add some tomatoes with some feta cheese and some salt and pepper. I really like having a lunch like this. And for snacks, later on, I bought some mandarin. I think it's called mandarin, so I'm going to be snacking on those later.
Good morning, everyone. I just finished my run. I listened to music again. I think I'm getting better at keeping my pace and sometimes a little bit more faster. But yeah, it's tough, but I think I'm making progress, which is great because that's what matters, making progress. So I keep doing my run every morning. So far I can run 20 minutes in a very good pace without stopping, so I'm really proud of that. And after that I'm just walking a little bit. Don't want to just stop, I just try to walk, and I'm gonna try and find a place to do some practice.
I noticed that because the ground was very muddy, I had a lot of mud on my shoe, and especially I had a lot of little and even bigger rocks in it. So I got a little twig and tried to get it out because I felt like my walking was a little bit off, probably because I was walking on the rocks.
Okay, running is done. Now there's not many people over here, so I'm going to do my exercise.